Hello and welcome everyone. This podcast is a bit more than 1 week old now, and I'm very happy to announce that we already have listeners from more than 4 different countries. Let's find out what paper prototypes are and how they can make a UX designer's life so much easier today. Paper prototyping sounds like testing different kinds of paper, right? Which color is better? How thick should the paper be? And questions like that will be answered, or is it something different? Yes, it is. Paper prototyping is probably the first stage of prototyping when creating an entirely new solution, simply because it is really fast and easy to execute. Once you're done with wireframing and you have evaluated your first wireframes with different UX experts and or only with your users, it is time to make paper prototypes with those wireframes as a foundation. That means that you sketch every screen you have on a piece of paper that represents one screen of your solution. You can already start creating some design elements and define different styles like buttons or text fields, or you can write the headlines a bit bolder. But this is not essential in this phase. You're also allowed to use colors in this phase if it is part of the interaction concept. If some categories of content should have one specific color, it is sensible to test this already with your paper prototypes. But it is still the same with paper prototypes as with wireframes. The main focus is to evaluate the interaction concept, not the visual design. Therefore, the paper prototypes can be quite sketchy. More on that after a very short break with some music. Alright, so here we go again. Why can paper prototypes be quite sketchy? Well, that can be answered easily. They are not made to sustain long. You make your prototype, invite some user test participants, do your testing, and then a new prototype gets created. Like always, do as many loops of paper prototyping as somehow possible. But how do you perform a paper prototype user test? Let's find out more about that now. Performing a paper prototype user test is actually really easy. To show the user the screen that he or she starts the interaction from. Then he or she can click on the paper, and you as a study investigator or someone helping you will show the user the next screen in form of the next paper. Then the user can interact with the paper again, and some other action of the paper prototype will follow. There are different approaches. During my time in the automotive industry, I chose the option to place every user test participant in the driver's seat of a vehicle. And I would switch the screens. So there was always one screen in front of a participant, and I would always take it away once the user has interacted with it and give him or her a new one. Another approach is to hang up all screens on a wall or place them on the table. But please make sure that all screens are reachable by every user no matter of his or her size. Then you show the user the start screen, and when he or she interacts with it, you show him the next screen that is located somewhere else on that wall or table. So you move together with your participants and the screens stay at the same location at all times. Both approaches have benefits and downsides that I don't want to discuss in detail today. However, the big advantage of the first approach, where you need to replace the screens, is that the user only sees one screen at a time and can't be influenced by and look at other screens. On the other hand, it might take you some more time to replace the screens. The second approach, where you and the user move to each screen, is better if you want to save time. And it is not so important that the user feels like being in a real system. Let's take one more break before we discuss the advantages and downsides of paper prototyping in general. So what are the advantages and downsides of paper prototyping? It is a major benefit of this technique that it needs almost no resources at all. The only thing required is some paper, a pencil and some time. But therefore, you will get really good results from the user tests. The downside of this technique, however, is that users could feel strange when interacting with some paper that are called a paper prototype. Therefore, you should give them some time at the beginning to get used to it. Getting used to it also played an important role for me last year. Since more than 1 year now, I get up at 3:45 AM every morning. Yes, I believe in the early bird and I want to let my clients know that I am there all the time. This is why the first thing I will do every single morning is to send emails to my clients and they appreciate it. After sending some mails, I try to get the most important work done before getting to the gym at 5:45 AM. Yes, I do also get up that early on weekends. Simply because it's my routine and I don't want it to end because my life generally only benefited from it. Give it a try. You don't need to get up at 3:45 AM, but try maybe 4:30. It truly helps you. Because remember, always keep pushing. Have a good one.